What's up, everybody? I want to invite you to this space today. I know you are here physically. I want to invite you here spiritually. I want to invite you here mentally today because your whole existence needs this. And not necessarily because I'm presenting. It's not about me. It's that we are under attack, right? Our work as a whole, no matter who you voted for, is under attack. And it's not just affecting your body, it's affecting your spirit, your mind. And so I just want to invite you to just come and be fully present today as we dive into a topic that, yes, we are here to talk about our work around volunteerism, volunteer management. We're also here to talk about us and how do we care for justice while we also care for us. That's what we're here to talk about today. We're here to give us a opportunity to pause, reset, rejuvenate, refuel, re-energize, rejuvenate, whatever word you need today. We're here to be together. I want to start with a nod to K Dot. Might know him as Kendrick Lamar. And, I actually put this together before the Super Bowl happened. But I want to tell you, friends, that Kendrick Lamar has some wisdom for us that he debuted years and years ago. And it's simply that we're going to be all right. If you don't get nothing else from today, I need you to internalize these 4 words. That where we are right now in 2025, in our world, in our climate, that we're going to be all right. Why? Well, we're going to be all right, not just because of our own strength, but because our ancestors have been through this, and I would argue far beyond some of this stuff. We're going to be all right. Right? We're going to be all right because me and you, we can do hard things. And I don't know about you, but right now it's hard. And we can do hard things. Now, if you are someone where you can actually say this, I want you to repeat after me and say, we gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. Now, for some of you, that might be the first time that you have said these words or even said anything close to those words in the last 3 weeks, and that's okay. But what we know to be true is that if your body and your physical self can actually start uttering these things, your brain will catch up. See, there's a lot of emphasis on, well, we need to get our minds right. We need to get our mental state right. But actually, it's actually reversed. That your body, and it just so happens that we are not in touch with our bodies. It so happens that people's bodies are under attack, right? We know that our bodies are not valued in this society. I wish I had time. I wish I had time to talk about how black and brown bodies have not been valued. We can talk about how women's bodies are not valued, right? How our bodies are not valued. And so there's a lot of emphasis on the mind. There's a lot of emphasis on thinking, on particularly the left side of your brain, the logical side of your brain, right? You go get all these degrees, but research and empirical evidence have told us that if we can connect with our bodies, if we can go back to our bodies, our minds are going to follow suit. One simple way for you to feel this. If you're around and you want to do this, you can do this. I want to invite you to take a deep breath. 3, 2, 1, breathe in. And 3, 2, 1, breathe out. Every time that you take a deep breath and focus on your breath, I want you to remind yourself that you're going to be all right. Because that act of breathing is evidence that your body, that your breath, that this thing that you are a part of, that even though your mind is in chaos, just by you telling your body what to do and making your body do an action, It calms down your mind. We need to reverse this rhetoric that we have that we need to be mentally right. No, you need to get your body in check. You need to sit with your body, sit with your feelings, make sure that's good, and then your mind will follow. Y'all, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. And so I say that to tell you that if you say these words, maybe if you don't believe them now, keep saying it. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. And soon you're gonna actually start thinking and feeling that we are gonna be all right, and you're gonna start looking for ways that we have been all right in the past. Your ancestors, our leaders today, our leaders of the past, time and time again, is Black History Month. Do I need to even go into all the ways that Black and brown people, indigenous people, women, LGBTQ folks have overcame? Oh, we're going to be all right, friends. We're going to be all right. We are going to be all right. John Lewis, after he passed in July of 2020, just a couple weeks after the lynching of George Floyd, he wrote a letter. And I would encourage you all, if you need a bit of homework today, to go read that letter. Just Google John Lewis letter to America. It will come up on the New York Times in the opinion section. It's free for you. I would invite you to read that letter. In that letter, you can put this in the resource section, Courtney, for folks, right? In that letter, he talks about that the past has lessons for us, and that in our past we need to get back to the truths of our past. That the reason why we're gonna make it is because our past and our ancestors, our matriarchs, our moms, our parents, our guardians, our ancestors, they left clues. They left clues. And so today I want to invite you to go back with me. This notion of Sankofa, that means go back and get. I want to go back and get some of that stuff that we seem to be losing. We seem to be missing in our society today. And the first is to simply think about your why. My why is here. This is Malachi. And I don't know about you, but if you have kids, you got at least one reason to be joyful in your life, because he wakes up every morning and greets me with the biggest hi you will ever see in your life. And I just can't help. Even if I'm having a bad day, that hi in the morning will get me going. And so I want to start with just your why, because, sometimes, friends, we need to really understand why we're in this work, why we are doing what we're doing, why we are waking up every day supporting this nation around volunteerism, why we are supporting our communities, why we are trying to get people involved, why we're still even at the job that we're at, because you can easily go somewhere else and not have to deal with all this. Your why matters. And so I want to start with that. Like why are you doing this work? Why are you committed to showing up today? Why are you committed to staying in this fight? Why? Why? Because if things get tough, and not if they get tough, but when they get tougher, your why is what's going to keep you grounded. My why is Mr. Malachi. He's 15, 16 months now, and yes, he is just as adorable now as he was when he took these pictures. Dude, so freaking cute. That's one reason why you connect with me on LinkedIn. You may see a couple pictures of him every now and again. That will hopefully bring you as much joy as I get brought by seeing his smile. Next are my puppy babies, Moose and King. And they're just a ball energy too. And then of course you have my wife here, Rachel. We were in Santorini doing this picture. I wish I was there today because I'm located in Minnesota. I saw one of my friends, Gabby. She's here up the street in St. Paul, and it's cold. So I wish I was in Santorini right now. But I'm feeling warm already just thinking about Santorini. It was a good time, y'all. But this is Rachel, and she is a social worker and does a lot of great work with our littles as well. So y'all, that's the fam. I do want to invite you to connect with me here. If you are open to connecting on LinkedIn, I want to invite you to connect. I want to invite you to find me on any of these social medias, follow, like, connect. One thing I will tell you is the reason why this is here, is not so much for promotional tools. It's really a reminder that as humans, what we need to be focusing on right now is connection. And if you are not intentional about connection, life will get in the way and you'll be on to your next thing. And so I put this slide here in all of my presentations because I want to remind myself and I want to remind you, because you already know this, that relationships matter. And it's so easy for us in 2025 to bypass the relationship part. It's so easy for us just to put our relationships on autopilot, where you got to schedule a time to connect with your best friend in 7 weeks on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. because that's the only block of time you could find because y'all so daggum busy, right? We all know that connection will just pass us by. And it happens the same way with our work. It happens the same way at our jobs, where at the place where we work, where we come into meetings and we got to get to work, right? This is urgent. We got to do work. And I want to invite you to maybe you put something in your next meeting around connecting with the people in that room, connecting with people in that space, connecting with people who you work with, because relationships are the foundation of this work. Proximity matters, relationship matters. And I would argue that part of what we're trying to do, part of what's happening right now, is the forces that be are literally attempting to pull us apart, are trying to divide us, are trying to rip apart families. One act of resistance that you can do is just simply connect. Take time to build relationships. Take time to say what's up to somebody before you hop in that meeting. Connect, friends. Connect. Get to know your neighbors. Get to know the people you work with. Connect. And do it often. All right. Let's jump in. So as we think about going back to get what our ancestors have taught us, the first thing that I want to invite you to think about today in your work is balance. It's balance. What I want to tell you, friends, is that there's a whole bunch of definitions of balance, and I want to give you this one because when I thought about balance, or maybe when you think about balance, sometimes we think about balance maybe as 50-50, right? Sometimes you may think of a seesaw, right, where the seesaw, you have to have balanced weights or the seesaw will tilt upside down. Well, that's not quite the balance that I want to offer you today, because that kind of balance will mess you up empirically. Because when we think about work-life balance, right? Well, that's really a oxymoron, if you will, because you will never have equal work-life balance. Like, you will never say, okay, I worked 40 hours at work or maybe 50 hours at work. I know y'all work in nonprofits. It ain't never 40 hours, right? Maybe it's 50 hours at work. And then you're like, why do you spend 50 hours at home with my family? Well, we know that's not going to happen because you need sleep and other stuff, right? And so balance, right, is really not so much about equality, which is also interesting. It's more about equity, okay? Which is about giving you what you need to succeed. In the same way we talk about equity and social justice, it also works with your life, okay? Here's a definition for you. Balance is a condition in which different elements are equal or in the correct proportions. Now, you saw that equal part there, right? That's one definition where there's 50 pounds here and 50 pounds here, equal. But this second part around the correct proportions, that's what I want to focus on today, friends. Is your life balanced? Is your life in correct proportions about how you want it to be right now? Is what you're spending your time on, is that in correct proportions to where you want it to be right now? Okay? I'm here to challenge you, friends. I'm here to challenge you because this is going to be the difference in whether or not we can sustain this work in the way that it needs to be sustained in 2025. Because if you are out of balance, we understand through both our bodies, going right back to our bodies, and through our ecological systems and our ecosystems and nature, that balance matters. Let's talk about our body for a second. If in fact, right, if in fact you are not in balance with your body things start hurting. If you are not drinking enough water, things go awry. If your heart rate is not in balance, bad things happen. Too much, too little. If your systems and your right, if you're not in a place of homeostasis, that is not good. That's not balanced. And so balance matters to our bodies, to literally us being alive. If your breathing is not in balance, something is probably not right. The second thing where balance shows us the importance is in nature. Again, going back to our ancestors, because our indigenous friends and family and our indigenous relatives, they talked about nature, right? They talked about nature as something that could teach us, and now we're going back to that, right? In our climate justice movement, right? In our sustainability movement, right? All this work around taking care of the earth. Our ancestors already did that, right? Colonization and the colonizers took that from us. So we're not, this stuff isn't innovative. We're just going back. And balance is important for nature. Too much water, too little water, and your plants will die. Oh, but water's good for it. Yeah, but not equal water. You can't give equal water to all your plants. Some of you have tried that. That's why they are dying, because you need to understand that balance matters. That sometimes your plants need a balance of water, sun, and some healthy soil. But balance matters. Too much, if it's not in the correct proportions, life will not happen. And I want to tell you, friends, that if your life is not in correct proportions, some things are going to die. If you are not in correct proportions with how you spend your energy, things are going to die. As in your motivation, your hope meter. That if we are spending too much time not listening to what Kendrick Lamar said and turning the TV off, right? Your ability to hope might not be in the right proportions. Like if you're spending too much time watching all the stuff on the news, right? Your hope meter might not be in the proportions. So you're gonna wake up tomorrow and say, I don't feel hopeful. You're not in balance. You're not in balance. I need you to take care of you, because if you're not feeling hopeful, nothing that you're gonna do is going to get done. And if it does get done, I don't want to be around somebody who's not hopeful. I don't want to be around negative Nancy. I don't want to be around somebody who has negative energy. You need to be in balance. Part of why you came today is because you understand this. You need some energy. You need some hope. You need to be in community, because balance matters. When we talk about balance, there's a couple of different ways that we can really emphasize and really think about balance. There's a whole bunch of ways, but I want to just give you this uh resource. This is called the Well-Being Wheel, and it really talks about some ways that we think about well-being. I'm going to read these for accessibility reasons, just so you can get them. So there are a few here. I'm going to go clockwise. It says intellectual, physical, social, spiritual, environment, financial, occupational, and emotional. And so when we think about balance, what I'm really trying to invite you to think about is are you balanced in these? Are these 7 or 8 things, are they in the correct proportions in your life? Now here's the thing. They don't all have to be equal, but are they in the correct proportions in your life in this current moment? I would even argue, because they can change, and they always are changing, sometimes daily. Right? And so really understanding that you need all these things. And if you are like, ooh, I ain't been to the gym in a minute. I used to love going to the gym, but I ain't been in a minute because I'm so stressed out that we don't have funding tomorrow. And so I go home and just go to sleep. Right? Like you might need to figure out, how do you get this thing in balance? How do you treat your body nice and still go to the gym? Right? How are we thinking about balance of all these things, not just some of them. Not just some of them. Right now, your intellectualization might be really high. A lot of articles coming at you, little, there's a lot of data coming at you, right? I mean, it seems like every day there's something on your LinkedIn newsfeed. Every day there's something, right? And it invites us to be real heady. It invites us to really think and to really, read more articles and look at more news. And so your intellectualness, and you trying to figure out why at night you're tired and stressed out. Well, you're not in balance. You're not in balance. You might need to really try journaling. Like you might need to take your attention off everybody else and put your attention on yourself. Try journaling tomorrow morning. Try reading an article in the morning to ground you for the day. Try waking up 30 minutes earlier, so that you can have some me time before everything else gets up and you gotta work. You gotta see your attention everywhere else except yourself. Balance. We need it. It's important. It's important. Now, I got a few tips for you because I can't talk about balance and not give you some tips for how to achieve this thing, right? I saw some of you in the chat where y'all, I asked the question, "Are you in balance?" Y'all was like straight up, "Nope." I appreciate that vulnerability because part of fixing the problem is knowing that there is a problem, and not just knowing it, but acknowledging, "Nope." Great, we got some work to do today, friends. We got some work to do, right? Monica says, "For me, it's getting outside and getting involved in more local grassroots efforts." Right? Yes, right. Going outside and doing something you love, like that's important. And it might be hard to do that sometimes, right? It might be hard to do that if you're feeling doubtful. But here's what I would tell you. This is another example of you doing stuff and not waiting for you to feel like hope is coming. Because I promise you, Monica, and all the rest of you, that when you go out into community, when you go out and be with people, you will feel better. Again, you'll let your body lead, not your mind. Let your body lead, not your mind. I love that, Linda. She says, "This is so in line with my 2025 goals." Amen to that, right? Yes. I'm glad you got some goals around this stuff. If we had time, we would talk about some habit change science that says that the first thing you need to do to change any habit is to make the habit obvious. And we know that through setting goals. Make it obvious. Something just don't happen. Can we just stop with the stuff that just happens? Nothing just happens. Nothing that you have ever done that was impactful in your life has just happened. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Can you imagine for those of you who graduated from high school, like if you just going and was just going and going and didn't have anything written down to track your progress? Like you had a report card, you got a progress report card, right? You had this transcript that said, okay, you need to take this class in ninth grade, this class in 10th grade, this class in 11th grade, right? It was obvious what you were doing. And I'm assuming some of us graduated. When you went to college, if you went to college, right? I know everybody didn't go to college, but if you went to college, right, it was obvious, right? Even if you didn't finish, there was still a plan. You didn't just go in there and be like, all right, we're gonna see what class we're taking today. Whoop, no, like absolutely not. It was obvious what you were supposed to be doing. I love that, right? Get some goals around this stuff. Now you got goals at work. Let's also get some goals for your balance, for your life. Like you look, if some of y'all got whole DEI plans. Y'all got whole plans about diversity and inclusion, right? You got organizational plans. Like you need organizational plans for you. You need some organizational goals for yourself. A personal mission plan, yeah, right? Like we got mission plans for our organization. Like you need something for you. But here's the thing. It's not to get all woo woo, but it's really to say you need to make it obvious. Because when you start writing things down, things get done. What you track grows. Like we know this. And we know this because we do it in our jobs. I'm inviting you to do it for you. We do it for our movements. I'm inviting you to do it for you. We do it for our volunteers. Right? If I show up to volunteer at your site, you're not going to just let me do whatever. Absolutely not, right? You're gonna write down and give me a job description. Hey, I need to do this today, right? For my AmeriCorps friends, and I did AmeriCorps. I love AmeriCorps. Shout out to all my not public allies. I did public allies, but shout out to all my AmeriCorps alums, all my AmeriCorps people who work with y'all. I absolutely love AmeriCorps. I did it 2 years in a row. I also recently got to speak to the AmeriCorps conference last year. It was dope. And so I have a huge heart, a huge space in my heart for AmeriCorps. But friends, can I tell you that when I did AmeriCorps, that it was detailed what we had to do. I had to get this many hours. It had to be tracked, and that's how I graduated. And so we do this in our personal lives. I want to invite you, as someone mentioned in the chat, and someone mentioned in the chat, do it for you. Do the same thing you do for your job. Do it for you. Shout out to my AmeriCorps friends in the building. So here goes some tips for you, friends. The first tip for you around balance is that balance is really about being. It's about being. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? That's really what we're talking about today, right? We're really talking about who do we like to be? Who do we want to be, right? It matters. Here's the thing, friends. Can I be honest with you? Some of us are doing things that do not align with our values. Some of us are watching things that we don't really want to be doing. And so when I talk about boundaries today, well, not boundaries. When I talk about balance, I really want to invite you to think about being like it's not about you doing stuff. It's about who you are. Do you want to be somebody who is constantly focused on negative things, or do you want to be someone who focuses on positive things? Do you want to be somebody who wakes up in the morning feeling hopeful, or do you want to be somebody who feels hopeless? Like this is not something that we need to be playing around with. We need to really be focused on our being. You are a human being, after all. Being matters. Can I tell you, friends, that there are no balance without boundaries? Let me say it again, because someone needs to hear this. You cannot have balance without boundaries. I know. I know. This is hard. Oh, let me tell you, boundaries are hard, right? You don't have to tell me, I already know, right? Because in our society as a whole, the narrative is that someone who sets boundaries are selfish. Someone who set boundaries are mean. And we can even get into gender dynamics, because when you talk about gender dynamics, we know that women have a hard time setting boundaries than men, because women are socialized to be caretakers. All right, and so let me be very clear that that's real. And we also know that the nonprofit field is mostly women identifying folks. All right, or gender nonconforming folks, right? What? Not men is what I'm trying to say. Okay, you just put everybody in there. Not men tend to be better at setting boundaries than women are, because we've been socialized that way. And so I want to tell you, friends, that you need some boundaries in your life. You need boundaries in your life. Now, I want to tell you that some of us, we have never been shown healthy boundaries. And so you can't be what you cannot see. And so that now means that we need some education on how to do boundaries. Like you need to go listen to the podcast on boundaries. You need to go read some books on boundaries. Take a class on boundaries, right? You need to get clear about boundaries, because not having boundaries are hurting you, and it's also hurting our work around justice. It's hurting our work around it's hurting you at work even, right? Like for example, some of you don't take lunch breaks. Like you go to work and you just don't take breaks at work because the work is so demanding and you're so stressed. I want to invite you. I want to challenge you in the next week to put lunch on your calendar. You put everything else in your calendar, right? Put lunch breaks in your calendar. Someone said lunch break, question mark, right? LOL, right? What's a lunch break, right? A lunch. I'm gonna hold your hand while I say this. A lunch break is something that you are required by you are entitled to at your job. Okay. And I want to tell you, friends, that boundaries are important, and your ability to take breaks matter. You were not designed to be out here working 8, 9, 10 hours a day without breaks. That's reckless. It sounds like enslavement, if you ask me. And so I want to, right? It's funny because our friend Jessica last week talked about the start of the nonprofit industrial complex, right? Y'all remember that? If you came last week, last month, she talked about how this thing got started. It was started from a capitalist who don't believe in, right? I mean, it was started by someone who didn't believe in boundaries. It started with someone who believed that we have to work and work and work and work. And so our nonprofits have suffered from this. You go to some nonprofits, and they might as well be at a for-profit factory. Like, no, you didn't join the nonprofits to you didn't join the nonprofits to be stressed like this. You didn't do that. And you have the power to say, I'm taking my break. Put it in your calendar. Make it obvious. I'm challenging you today. When we got this call, say I went to this webinar, and one thing I learned is that I'm going to care for us. I'm going to care for myself. I'm taking my lunch every day for the rest of this week. Just try it on Thursday and Friday. Take your dadgum lunch break. It don't have to be the same every day, right? Find your time to put it in and put it in. And don't you dare let nobody schedule over it. Oh, I see you have a lunch break. Can we meet? No. No, we can't meet. That's my lunch break. I'm having a meeting with me. No, I can't meet with you. That's my lunch break. Because you also need to understand, friends, that no is a complete sentence. Because boundaries are really about you telling other folks no when things are really important for you or not important for you. And so we get really that good with saying no. I know it's hard for some people. I know, right? I know. Someone said, hell no, right? I want to tell you, friends, that once you set boundaries, you have to start saying no to stuff. I know this is hard. But you can do hard things. And it is important that you understand that part of why we are out of balance is because saying yes to everything. You saying yes to everything. You can't say yes to everything and be in balance. You can't do that. So you just need to practice saying no. Sometimes say it's no. Say it slowly. Just say no. Court, I need you to stay after work today. I need you to work on that. No. I have to go home to my family. Like by me saying yes to work on your project past 4 o'clock, I'm saying no to Malachi, and I will not say no to my son. So we gotta set some boundaries around this thing, right? Because when you're saying yes to your job, or you're saying yes to watching the news, or you're saying yes to being in spaces that don't bring you hope and don't bring you life, that means you're saying no to all the other stuff. And so you have to say no in order to say yes. I have a mentor. He has a quote that he gave me like almost 10 years ago. He said, Dante, he said, the only way that your yeses can be powerful is if your no's are also powerful. That your no's are just as powerful as your yeses. I need you to get that. And the last thing, friends, I need you to let go. I need you to let go of some stuff. That everything that you are doing, you probably don't have to be doing right now. And I get it. There's societal things. There's all kind of stuff going on that feels like you have to be doing stuff, but you can let go of some stuff. You can let go of some stuff. It's okay. It's okay. You can let go of those expectations that you're somehow not going to be seen as a good team member. That's okay. Like if a good team member means I got to work 70 hours to this place, maybe you don't need to be there anyway. Like that, like just let go of that, and you might need to let go of that job too, because the reality is, friends, is that we have to let go of some of this stuff. Just release it. And I'm not saying just release it like it's that easy because you've been holding it for a long time. I'm saying go to therapy. I'm saying go get you some support. I'm saying go and vent because venting has been proven to actually be good. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not saying venting and be all negative and get a rumination. I'm saying vent, use that as a tool, and let's go, right? When I actually learned about this, I was like, oh wow, okay, so like venting is actually a positive thing. Yes, we need to vent. You need to let the air out of your body. That's basically what it is. Same way you vent that rice when you put it in the microwave to cook it. Okay, Like, so, because if you don't do that, it's not going to cook properly. You also need to vent, and part of that venting is actually your body releasing the negative stuff. So go do some venting. Let that stuff go. Go to therapy. Talk journal. Let some of that stuff go. Read some books. Go to some trainings. Listen to podcasts. Like whatever you need to do your inner work. Let some stuff go. And I promise you, when you do all these things, balance is going to be within your grasps. At least a more balanced life. Now, we also need to talk about balance around our justice movements. This is where your work comes into play. Because, friends, what I want to tell you is that you having balance in your personal life is important, but you having balance around our work around justice also matters. You know, there are some people right now who are not marching in the streets. And you might be one of those people, and you're like low-key judging the people who are. We need balance. Like, can you imagine if everybody was marching in the street? That wouldn't work. Like, we need to have the correct proportion of people in all of our movements and doing all of our work. Can you imagine if you ask your volunteers, let's say y'all are trying to build a structure, y'all trying to build a house. Shout out to Habitat for Humanity, if any Habitat for Humanity folks around here, and you told everyone to do the same thing, that wouldn't work. I want everybody to go paint that one wall. No, like we need balance. We need things to be in the correct proportion. And so what I want to tell you, friends, is that you also, right, not just your mind and your thinking around this work, but you need to understand that we need you and me to be in our places around our justice movement. I will tell you, I am not your guy to go and march in the street. You will not find me on the block. You won't find me on the block. You will find me in the boardroom. Okay, I will go to the boardroom and I will fight for justice there. And here's the thing: I'm not mad at the people who are not in the boardroom, and I hope that the people on the block are not mad at me. But I see this time and time again that we will criticize folks. Well, I'm on the street and I'm marching. I'm putting my body on line. That's great. I'm at the Capitol. When last time you been there? When last time you been to the Capitol? Well, they don't listen to me at the Capitol. Well, that's why you're in the street. We need you. We need both. Right? All of our movements, whatever they have been, whenever our movements have been around justice, we have had all of the things. You had your MLKs and you had your Ella Bakers. Right? You had your John Lewis's and you had your Marion Wright Edelmans who started the Children Defense Fund. Right, like we have all of it, right? You had your people who were in the streets, like your why am I blanking on who I'm trying to say right now? You had your Audre Lordes who were putting pen to paper and writing, and you had your Thurgood Marshalls who were at the Supreme Court. Our justice movements need balance as well, and so stop hating on people. Stop being negative towards folks who aren't in your part of this movement. It's okay. Let them do them. And know that collectively we're going to all show up and make change together. I just want to give you something, friends, because we got a lot of fighting to do over the next 4+ years. And I need you to understand this because, again, it's going to make you feel better. And if you feel better, you're going to be better. If you be better, you're going to do better. Don't get mad at me because I'm putting on my suit and tie going to the Capitol. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just stop. And when there's an action, you go do the action. I got kids. I can't get arrested. Malachi needs his dad. Right? Like I'm just like we have to make sure that we have balance around our justice movements too and ourselves. Let's move on because we are moving and grooving on time. All right. The next thing, friends. Yeah. Oh, first of all, I love this picture you put in your court. Thanks for making this, by the way. The next B is to be brave. Friends, I'm not telling you nothing that your ancestors have not told you before. That bravery implies that what you are about to engage in, that there's risk involved. Bravery suggests that what you are about to do requires valor. Bravery suggests that what you are about to engage in requires something that is not safe. Let's talk about safe spaces for a second. Because in our work, I feel like we're moving away from this, but I still got to talk about it because I'm still seeing folks talk about safe spaces. All right. And I want to tell you, friends, that safe spaces are okay. I get the intention of them, right? But if I was to ask you just real quickly, when you think about the word safe, what words come to your mind? Just put them in chat real quick. Just the word safe. Outside of our social justice context, when you think of the word safe, what words come to your mind? Vulnerability, security, boring. I love that, Jessica. Acceptance, secure, protected, trust, open, hidden, quiet, sanctuary. All right. Now, friends, I want to tell you something. Peace. All right. Confidentiality, peace, right? Protection, love. Okay. Secure. Here's the thing, friends, is that when we think about these words, right? That if we was playing Family Feud and I asked you this question and I surveyed 100 folks and I had on, I'm kind of rocking my Steve Harvey right now anyway, so we actually could play. Uh, the number one answer, y'all answers would be on the board too, but the number one answer would be comfort. That we equate safety with comfort. And if you look at some of your answers, you can get to comfort through some of these answers, right? Secure, comfort, sanctuary, comfort, all right. Right, like protection, comfort, love, comfort, right? Like comfort is what we think about when we think about safe. And what happens sometimes is that when we think about safe spaces, and then we think about comfort, when these things get upended, when you stop feeling comfort, we then start to believe or think that we're not safe. And that's not true. Because what we know is that when it comes to comfort, that in fact, we have all known this and know this to be true, that there is no growth in the comfort zone and there's no comfort in the growth zone. That if you are growing, you are not comfortable. When you are learning new things, some of y'all not comfortable right now because I start talking about boundaries and that's stretching you. I start talking about saying no, and you're like, "Oh, I don't like something in my bodies don't feel right." I didn't tell someone no all year, right? Like because you're growing, and growing is uncomfortable. Earlier, I talked about how plants and trees do this, right? When a little seed has to grow, part of that part is an uncomfortable process because it first has to break through some stuff. In order for you to get stronger in terms of your muscles have to break. It's uncomfortable getting stronger because when things are growing, comfort is not around. And so, friends, I want to invite us to think about how do we shift from these safe spaces to brave spaces? Here, let's do this activity one more time. When you think of the word brave, what comes to your mind? Yeah, I love that. Somebody, let me go back here. Somebody has said that we have started using the word brave space. I love that. Yes, because here's why it's important, right? Because words matter. And when you say certain words, it elicits certain actions. It elicits certain thoughts, right? For example, I can say big, you get one image in your mind, or I can say mammoth or gargantuous, and now your version of big is small. Because when I say something is gargantuous, you're probably not thinking big no more. Like big might be your house, but when I say gargantuous, we might be talking about Mount Everest, right? Because words elicit different images. And so safe elicits an image that is not serving us anymore. And I want to invite us to, as some of you have already done, have talked about brave spaces. Now, I want to read some of these, and you tell me if brave space or brave fits more about what you're going through in your daily life right now with all the stuff going on. Courage, strong, fearless, courageous, strength, strong, daring. Let me read some more. Facing fear, resilience. Like, does this sound more like what you're going through right now? Because if you're doing justice work, I can promise you, you're not doing it, and there's no fear, right? If you are doing justice work right now or volunteerism work, that you are probably doing it in a brave way. You have to be. It's so funny. People have been asking me because I do DEI work, right? I do DEI consulting, I do training and keynotes and stuff, and people are asking me, Dunce, hey, what do you think about all the DEI rollbacks? What do you think about all the stuff that's happening with DEI? And I'm telling folks, I'm happy about it because I know now the folks who are in the work, right? The folks who are going to call me to say, Dunce, come do this training or come do this workshop. We still care about DEI. Oh, I know y'all serious. I know y'all are serious about this work now because the people who were not serious, they're gone. The people who are not serious, who are not brave, they're gone. Because if things get hard, brave people say yes. On 9/11 in 2001, not one firefighter said no. Not one. And they knew what they were going into. Brave. Brave. And so, same thing for D&I. We know what we're doing. And so, when organizations are calling me now, like, I'm like, y'all are brave. These are the people I want to work with. I don't have to worry about whether you wishy-washy, because if you are doing this work now, oh, you really about it. You gotta be. You gotta be really about it. And so, y'all, again, brave is what we need. You need to be brave. And if you are here today, if you are doing this work, not you need to be, but you are already brave. Can I talk about the other side of brave, though? Because there's another side that we have to talk about, friends, and I want to be very clear when I tell you this, that black and brown people, that we sometimes have to be brave in times we shouldn't have to be. And so I don't want to give you this kind of Brene Brown thing around being brave and being vulnerable. I don't want to do that because that would be a disservice to our empirical lives. That friends, that being brave is not this absolute thing. Sometimes you shouldn't have to be brave. Sometimes being brave isn't always what you want to be doing. And so I just want to honor that and create space for that, hold space for that. That black and brown people have had to be brave in spaces and places that we shouldn't have to been for a long time. Hell, some of us just waking up is act of bravery. Some of us just showing up is act of bravery, right? So again, I want to just honor that I see you and I hear you and I feel you. That sometimes we talk about bravery, we talk about it as like a badge of honor, and then you got black and brown people just like, I'm brave every day. Yeah, and that's real too. So I just want to make sure that we see that we honor that we hold that. Because some of us have to be brave whether we want to or not. I want to end here. Oh, friends, I want to end here with your belief. I want to end here with your belief. I want to tell you, friends, that one of my favorite people to listen to, learn from, read, reflect, whatever word you want to use, is the amazing Bryan Stevenson. Bryan Stevenson, in his work, he says that I think hopelessness is the enemy of justice. I think hopelessness is the enemy of justice. Here's what he's saying, friends. Let me put this in other terms for you. If you have no hope, we will not get to justice. If you lose hope, we will not get to justice. Y'all, it's why those enslaved folks were singing those Negro spirituals in chains. I'm locked up. I'm chained up. Why am I singing Wade in the Water? Why am I singing Sweet Chariot? Why am I singing Amazing Grace? Why? Hope. I'm doing it because of hope. Because I know that if we lose hope, we will lose this thing. Why is Audre Lorde writing? Why is Ida B. Wells researching? Why is Maya Angelou putting pen to paper, Hope? Why are you here today, Hope? Because you need hope like you need air. And I want to tell you, friends, that you need hope because there are going to be times in our lives, and we are dealing with it right now, where there is going to be some hard times. The great Octavia Butler says, in order to rise from its own ashes, a phoenix must first burn. Understand, friends, that if we are going to rise strong, that we must first burn. And I want to submit to you today that we are burning right now. That this stuff is hard. But it's a part of the process. Pain is a part of the process. And so, friends, I want to tell you that hope is not something that you sit around and wait for. Let me say this again, because this actually has the power to change your life, just this alone. Hope is not something that you think about. Hope is not something that you wake up and say, I'm feeling hopeful today. Hope is not a emotional process. Like, for example, you feel things, or you feel a certain way. Those are emotions. Emotions come and go. Hope is a cognitive process. Hope is a process that says that I'm going to choose whether or not I'm hopeful today or not. Why? Based upon my actions. Brene Brown, in her book Rising Strong, and in her book Atlas of the Heart, talks about this, where she talks about that hope is something that we all have learned. That hope is something you can inject into your life. That hope is something that by your actions you can infuse, inject, instill hope into your life. It's not something you just wake up and be like, I'm not feeling hopeful today. You know why? Because maybe the actions that you're doing are not cultivating hope in your life. And so, friends, what I want to encourage you is that the next time you say I'm feeling hopeful, I change what you're doing. Change what you're listening to. Change who you're around. Change what you're saying. And you will feel more hopeful. And I want to tell you, friends, that we don't have time to be hopeless. We don't have time to be hopeless. We won't get to justice. We won't get to justice, friends. We will not get to justice because on the road to justice, as we are experiencing right now, we are going to run into some stuff. And some of us are smack dab against some of this stuff right now. There's going to be some roadblocks. Y'all are experiencing this right now. There's some roadblocks. At the federal level, there's some roadblocks. There's some rejection. There's a lot of resistance. AmeriCorps, every year I was in AmeriCorps for about 2 years. Every couple months, they were talking about how we don't know if AmeriCorps is going to get funding. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if it was who the president was. Like every single day, every couple months, they were like, "Hey, we need to make sure we need to call. We need to be on the front lines. We need to be advocating." Why? Because there's some resistance about our work. We know it's coming. We know it's coming. Can I also tell you, friends, that there might be a little bit of rage? Yeah, some people will be mad. We see this. You know what happened in Charlottesville. There's gonna be some rage. That when people don't get what they want, rage happens. I'm gonna leave it to your imagination to figure out what that last R is down there. I, I I just leave it to your imagination to know what that last R is. But there might be some of them too. We need hope. I need you to believe, friends. I need you to believe. I need you to believe in community. I need you to believe in community because community has been the only thing that has kept us thus far. I need you to believe in yourself that you can do hard things. I need you to believe in love because love always wins. I need you to believe in justice. I need you to believe in justice, friends, because justice has to happen. MLK said that the arc of this moral universe that it bends slowly, but yet it bends towards justice. I need you to believe in relationships. Because right now, at the core of this work, white supremacy and other forms of oppression are trying to tear us apart and make us invisible. I need you to believe in relationships. I need you to believe in humanity. I need you to believe in joy. I need you to believe in hope. I need you to believe in us. Because when we believe in us, we can get to justice. Thank you, friends. I appreciate you. And I leave you with this quote by Amanda Gorman. For there's always light if we're brave enough to see it, if only. If only we are brave enough to go be it. Friends, thank you so much. I appreciate you and continue to do this work of justice every single day, even when it's hard. Gratitude. Shay.
Thank you so much, Donte, for making time to be with us today. And thank you to everyone who took time out of their day to take care of themselves in this way, to come and be here. We'll make sure to follow up with you and share with you resources that Donte has shared. And we definitely want to make sure that you connect with him and build that community outside of just this 1 hour time, and make sure that you're connecting through LinkedIn and getting on Donte's newsletter and following up with him, and keep doing the beautiful work that you're doing each and every day. And we'll send you the recording. Please look for an email from us. And yeah, any final words, Donte, before we log off for the day? Thank you so much for being here.
No, if anyone have any questions, I'm happy to answer some. If anyone have any in the chat, if not, I don't have anything else to say. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions for Donte before we log off for the day? You can drop it in the chat. Got about a few extra minutes.
Or anything that resonated with you, anything that you're taking with you, I would invite you to put some of that. Like, what stuck with you? What are you taking with you? What are you going to do differently? You can put all that in the chat. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I will be taking do it for you. We need to know. We need to know to be greedy for ourselves at time, and that will help us help others in the end. Heck yes. Speak up and say it with your chest, and don't be afraid. Heck yes, Dorothy. Heck yes. Yeah, say no more often. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to schedule me in my life. Heck yeah, you are, Patty. Heck yeah, you are. There's no justice without us. I mean, just saying. If you are not taking care of you, we're never going to get there. And I'll say this: that if we right, if you are burnt out, right, if you are stressed, right, if you are disabled, because we know that stress and chronic stress actually lead to disability, right? So if you, let's say that we do get to justice, if you are not whole while we're there, then what's the point? Right, like what's the point if we're not in a relationship? What's the point if we have burnt all our bridges around our relationships? What's the point? What if we get to justice? I don't have a relationship with my son. What's the point? Like, and so it's not just about the work; it's also about us, and we have to have that conversation, because if we're not going to have that conversation, it's not going to get had. And so I'll read a few more of these, and then I know y'all probably got things to go do. Noise complete sentence, love it. Share with my team. Thank you, Mackenzie. Invite y'all to connect. I'll put this in here one more time, friends. I love LinkedIn. You will find me on there a lot. I really like the well-being wheel, bravery, balance, boundaries, and stand my ground and say no without guilt. Heck yes. Go to therapy if you need some support with that, because there's some stuff internally that like I can't even help you with right now. I'm not a trained therapist, but that guilt stuff is real, and guilt and shame don't ever serve you, ever. ever. So if you feeling some of that, like go talk to your therapist about it. Thank you. Yep, I do go to therapy. Hey, man, we all everybody should be in therapy. Just saying. Speak up and say it with my chest, especially black and brown folks. Yeah, I'm just anyway. All right, friends. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank y'all so much. Gratitude, Ashe. And happy Black History Month as well. I'll see y'all soon.
Bye. Thank you so much, everyone. We're going to log off and we'll follow up with you via email. So look for that to come in your inbox within a day or two. And yeah, happy Black History Month. And we will share with you all of Dante's resources and all the ways that you can connect with him as well and keep this conversation going. We've got upcoming events for you. We've got a 3-part workshop on internal advocacy and volunteer leadership coming up in March. And we've also got another webinar in March coming up with Beth Steinhorn, and we would love to see you there. So we'll make sure to send you all of that registration info. And thank you again. We'll log off and say goodbye, good day, take care. Thanks, Carly. Bye, Dante. I'll see you soon.
See you soon, Court. Thanks.